Another 24 hours and then this coalition will fall apart. Blah, I can't listen to it anymore, dear world. These people who are there, they won't resign before the beginning of next year until the next budget just blows up in their faces. And anyone who says again, yes, now on Tuesday, I said the same thing last week on Wednesday, that he's going to call a vote of confidence, I can't listen to it anymore. This government is finished. This government no longer knows what it can do, what it should do. Let's take Markus Söder as an example. He votes for the 1,000 euro relief package, and in the Bundesrat, he votes against it because he's afraid of the Bundesrat. The situation here in Germany is now hopeless. Even the members can see that. By now, if you ask regular people from the mainstream, like in the INSA poll, over 80% now think that this government should immediately step down. But those who are in Berlin are far too afraid that there might have to be a government with the AfD. That means this week they'll agree again on a pseudo-relief package, and once again it'll only punish the ordinary citizen. If you want to support this channel, please leave a like and subscribe. And let's take another look at what the world has brought today.
At the Coalition Committee meeting next Tuesday, the CDU, CSU and SPD will have to clarify how they want to proceed regarding finances. It could be a decisive day.
I can tell you how they will proceed. No, Friedrich Merz will go from one blunder to the next. He will unsettle this population even more until he eventually drops to 0% approval. He will keep going that long, which will probably be around January. But at the same time, they will also get a really bad beating in Mecklenburg-Vorpommern and in Saxony-Anhalt. Until then, there will be only one thing on the agenda. Yes, nothing. That's exactly it. Nothing will work because they are not even united. Lars Klingbeil really wants to tax the rich. Friedrich Merz rejects that. We'll hear more about that in a moment. And yes, as long as the majority has no voice here in Germany, it really doesn't matter. Because the little people, they could already be held accountable. And I mean, hey, a 1,000 euro relief package off the table. But alcohol tax, tobacco tax, of course, those come because they stay in the social welfare budget. Yes, it has to be refinanced somehow. And the tax relief or the tax reform that's supposed to come, it just won't happen because people have grown so far apart. There's no other way anymore.
Unfortunately, we're starting the new week on a bad note. The relief payment failed in the Federal Council on Friday.
That's because none of the CDU-CSU state leaders and even some SPD-led states want to vote in favor. A disastrous signal because it shows that not even the states support what the federal government decides.
In the next 13 months, the biggest elections you can possibly have in a legislative term are coming up. That includes North Rhine-Westphalia, Lower Saxony, Saxony-Anhalt, Mecklenburg, Western Pomerania, Saarland, and I could continue this list, for example, with Berlin. They're all coming up now, and of course the state premiers won't agree. Just take a look at the polls in these states. The CDU is just tumbling down, and their grip on power, which they absolutely have to preserve, is just crashing to the ground. That's why the state premiers want Friedrich Merz to withdraw from the CDU as quickly as possible. The SPD has no idea at all. They're still trying to get by with lies and disinformation. And no matter where you look, no matter which poll it is, whether it's North Rhine-Westphalia or the federal level, CDU down 1%, CDU down 2%, it goes on like this week after week. Even in one strong North Rhine-Westphalia, we're still at 34%. Schleswig-Holstein has now really lost ground. Even Daniel Günther has simply exaggerated the situation. And people here in Germany now see that even the local election campaign, the state election campaign, is turning into the federal election campaign. And for exactly this reason, the Bundesrat will completely refuse to cooperate in the near future. That is their response to the fact that Friedrich Merz should finally call for a vote of confidence to see who actually still supports this second choice chancellor.
And that's an image they want to get rid of very quickly. One option is the coalition committee on Tuesday to agree on relief measures for citizens, but what those will look like, that's where they can't agree.
Do you see any relief so far? Do you see any relief on any bill? I don't. Even when I go to the gas stations, fuel prices are still high. They announced that they want to bring prices down by 14 cents. Gas prices are shooting up. They're exactly at the same level as before. Now people come and say, yeah, but Shell made huge profits. They recorded massive gains. And at the same time, they'll soon have to buy new oil as well. And at the same time, the federal government now has lower tax revenues, in quotation marks, because people are no longer willing to buy all sorts of things, especially when it comes to groceries. And I have to ask myself, were they just throwing everything away before, or can they simply no longer afford it? And now they come along again saying, yes, we're promising you relief now. It would be better if you promised us that you would actually make proposals that build trust and really do it, or finally implement policies that benefit the general population. And not always just tax the rich, because at some point that's really going to backfire. And I hope that in Mecklenburg-Vorpommern they really get punished for it.
So the SPD Finance Minister Lars Klingbeil, who never misses an opportunity to say, yes, if we want to relieve low and middle incomes, then we have to raise taxes for top earners. And of course, that's a major sore point for the union.
Wait a second, Markus Soda has already said that he might be willing to do that. Only this chancellor rejects it because the CDU would then have to continue taxing many of its last grassroots members and many of its affiliated companies at a higher rate. Why the chancellor doesn't have a good feeling about it at all, because there are still 13% of Germans who think he's doing a good job as a politician. Just a bit out of consensus, he still doesn't tax the rich.
Chancellor Merz also made it clear again this week that he won't go along with that. So with these big issues, these major reforms, a quick solution is not in sight at all.
So what do you do when a government is basically unable to act? Then a confidence vote must be called, no ifs or buts. But the truth is, in recent years, the people have been lied to and cheated out of their tax money because institutions and courts have been corrupted. I wouldn't want to allow it either, that it might come to a point where a party governs here that, well, doesn't care about anything. And that's the problem with the AfD, all the framing, it just doesn't work anymore. Just imagine coming out of the crises in 2020, constantly did illegal things in the Bundestag or something like that. Your sharpest weapon until today was to keep everything secret, to make sure nothing was accessible to the citizens. And now a party comes along that says it doesn't matter at all that they want to get rid of them, like now, for example, in Saxony-Anhalt. That the latest move, as I've heard now, whether it's true or not, is that they want to get rid of the 5% threshold, yes. All of this only serves to signal to people more and more. You've got so much dirt on your hands you can't step down. But what we'll have to see is what happens when the next election comes. You don't have any way to cheat anymore. And then, well, if it keeps going like this, the union will be at 5%, the SPD won't make it in anymore. The Greens at 15 or 17%, the left at 17 or 18%. And where does the rest go? Well, you know that. And then you'll be dealing with an absolute majority, and then, at the latest, that's when the cheating is over. So keep going like this for another 3 years, and at the latest, then a shockwave will go through Germany that you don't want.